The modern autopsy of Queen Alexandra, the queen who smiled through the pain. Her pearls were perfect, her posture flawless, her smile eternal. But beneath the lace and laughter, Queen Alexandra was falling apart. For decades she limped, she hid, she suffered. And when death falling came, it was not from one disease, but from a body worn down by silence. Tonight we place Queen Alexandra of Denmark, consort to Edward VII, on the modern autopsy table to uncover the truth behind the most beautiful queen in Europe. The fairy tale beginning. Once upon a time there was a princess who married a prince, and it actually looked like a fairy tale. Alexandra of Denmark, born 1844, was stunning, tall, elegant, glowing with the kind of beauty Victorian artists worshipped. When she married the Prince of Wales in 1863, London erupted. She was everything her husband wasn't. Pure, poised, adored. And Edward, or Bertie as everyone called him, wasted no time in making her life complicated. He was a serial adulterer. She was the perfect wife. The public saw grace, but behind palace doors she was living on nerves, duty and denial. The medical mystery of the royal bride. Our autopsy begins early. At 18, Alexandra contracted rheumatic fever, a bacterial infection that inflames the joints and damages the heart. It left her permanently with a limp and a weakened circulatory system. Doctors didn't know that rheumatic fever scars the heart valves. In modern medicine, we'd call this rheumatic heart disease, slow, progressive heart damage that can take decades to kill. By her 30s, Alexandra's ankles were swelling, her legs puffy with retained fluid, early signs of heart failure. But in public she smiled through the pain. In portraits, her slight tilt and tilted shoulders became her signature pose. In reality, they were compensation for chronic pain and hip misalignment. The queen who couldn't hear. Then came the silence. In her 20s, Alexandra began losing her hearing, the result of hereditary otosclerosis, a condition that calcifies the tiny bones in the ear. By middle age, she was almost completely deaf, but nobody knew. She hid it with lip reading, rehearsed conversations, and endless charm. She became a master of social camouflage, smiling, nodding, laughing at all the right moments. A modern autopsy would show calcified ossicles in both ears, particularly the stapes bone, the hallmark of advanced otosclerosis. In life she couldn't hear the world. In death her bones still carry the proof. The fashion victim. Let's talk about beauty and its price. Queen Alexandra was the original influencer. Her long neck, high collars and choker pearls started a worldwide trend. But behind the glamour her fashion was hiding something. After a bout of severe rheumatic inflammation, one shoulder sat higher than the other. Her famous tilted look. To correct it, she wore corsets so tight they displaced her ribs and restricted her lungs. Her waist measured under 20 inches. A modern autopsy would find chronic compression marks on the ribs, weakened intercostal muscles, and perhaps even displaced organs, the physical toll of Edwardian fashion. Her lungs would show scarring, not from smoking, but from years of shallow breathing in steel-boned corsets. The royal marriage and the stress within. Marriage to Edward VII was no fairy tale. While Alexandra raised 6 children, Edward raised his champagne glass with mistresses. Lily Langtry, Alice Keppel, the list went on. Alexandra endured them all, in silence. The public adored her martyrdom. The doctors missed its effects. Modern medicine knows chronic emotional stress raises cortisol levels, leading to hypertension, suppressed immunity, and, you guessed it, heart disease. So every scandal, every headline, every mistress didn't just break her heart figuratively, it literally damaged it. The final decline. When King Edward VII died in 1910, Alexandra didn't just lose a husband, she lost the one role that had defined her. She became the Dowager Queen, still beautiful, still regal, but increasingly frail. By her 70s, she was half blind from cataracts, fully deaf and suffering from heart failure. Her legs ballooned with edema, her breathing laboured, her appetite gone. She refused bed rest, refused medicine, refused to give in. The woman who had been the image of beauty could not bear to be seen as weak. In November 1925, the fluid in her lungs finally overwhelmed her heart. She died quietly at Sandringham, aged 81. The autopsy table. Let's examine her as a modern pathologist would. External examination. Elderly female, slender, visible joint deformities consistent with chronic rheumatic arthritis. Ankles and legs show edema, fluid swelling. Skin pale, slightly bluish, cyanosis from poor circulation. Internal findings. Heart, enlarged, valves thickened and scarred, classic signs of rheumatic heart disease. Lungs, congested with fluid, confirming pulmonary edema. Ears, ossified stapes bones, confirming total deafness from otosclerosis. Bones, deformed rib cage from decades of corsetry, mild scoliosis. Liver, congested from chronic heart failure. Cause of death? Congestive heart failure due to chronic rheumatic heart disease, worsened by decades of physical and emotional stress. The legacy of pain and poise. It's easy to remember Queen Alexandra as the serene Edwardian beauty, but the autopsy tells another story of endurance, silence, and suffering. Her deafness isolated her, her limp embarrassed her, her corsets crushed her, and her marriage humiliated her. But she never let the public see it. The doctors would say she died of heart failure, but the truth? She died of appearance, a lifetime spent being perfect at any cost. Closing reflections. If Queen Victoria's autopsy revealed exhaustion and Queen Mary's showed repression, Queen Alexandra's shows something quieter, the physical toll of silence. Her body was a battleground between expectation and endurance. Her heart gave out because it had nowhere left to hide. The official cause, heart disease. The real cause, a lifetime of grace under pressure. This was the modern autopsy of Queen Alexandra, the queen who smiled through the pain. Subscribe for more royal autopsies, scandals and secrets buried beneath the crown.